Case Study 0029. Sherlock Holmes with comedian and storyteller Amy Meadows. Sherlock Holmes and Watson are on the trail of a criminal and scientific mastermind who seems to control monsters and creations which defy belief. All right. So, Amy, how are you doing today?
Well, Tressa, I'm fine. And I'm in a confused state that I'm hoping we can shed some light on this movie because, it's got me baffled a bit. And,
That's understandable. That's very fair. This movie... Okay, before we talk about this movie, I have to explain the revelation that I had halfway through this movie.
Okay.
Because Watson, the whole time I was like, he is so familiar. Who is that? I don't know if it's the character. I mean, I know Watson as a character, but I don't know if it was the actor or what. Okay, I don't know if you're familiar with the world of Doctor Who and Torchwood, but the actor that played Watson played the love interest of Captain Jack Harkness on Torchwood.
Wait, what?
Yes.
Oh.
The gay love interest, and it was like a huge thing, and it was adorable, and I loved the whole chemistry between them, and it was like a goofy, like, comedy relief situation, and it was just a super fun relationship, and I was like, holy cow. I would have never guessed from this specific character that he was playing, because he looks totally different. In Torchwood, he's very clean-cut and suave and whatever. Well, maybe not suave, but...
maybe borderline debonair.
Yes. So that was very exciting for me to learn. I just wanted to get that off my chest.
I felt that, when you see someone, you may see them out and about, or you're watching a movie, and it's like, that looks very much like... And I felt that way with a couple of the characters. Oh. But I'm like, I think maybe they were stunt doubles or something where it's like...
They're in your subconscious, just eating away at
They're
it.
like super close to being the well-established, highly skilled actors for whom I am mistaking them.
Yes.
But yes, they're their own artists.
This movie was straight up a banana pants. What the hell?
And I watched it twice.
Okay. I have to tell you, I saw this movie about 3 years ago, and I've just been sitting on it hoping somebody would take it because I fucking love it.
I watched it twice over the span of, time. And I was taking another whole set of notes. I'm like, what? How did I not? I'm so confused. And how did I not notice that before?
Yep.
And on the other hand, it's like, why in my previous set of notes did I think that was even remotely important? I have no idea because that's just ridiculous. So certainly a very nuanced experience.
Perfect word for it.
That deserves a lot of... I mean, it's just so deep. And there's so many layers of ridiculousness to explore.
I agree. All right, let's jump in.
All righty.
We start off London. I think it just said World War II London in the... Did they have a date?
They did.
Oh,
it was... Okay, so... Why December 29, 1940? I don't know if the idea was that...
You don't remember that day?
A day that will live in infamy. Because it's not Christmas and it's not New Year's.
It's not Boxing Day.
And so, what up? I don't know.
It was so unimportant.
So unimportant. And can we just say that Watson I was
an asshole.
I was I was disappointed in his lack of patriotism by leaving his lights on.
Yes.
The city is being freaking bombed.
Absolutely.
And Miss Hudson says, "Oh, come away from the window, dear. It'll be safer." Like everyone in the city of London right now, at least in this immediate area, would be safer if you would put out your damn light and close those ridiculous lace curtains.
As if the curtains would do anything.
Right. Yeah, it's like, oh, stay away from there. Look at those window coverings. No.
But she was like, oh, I got to go. I've had a hard day's work. Like, it's been a long-ass day. I'm going to go home, take a bath, have a glass of wine, just enjoy what I can of my life right now. And Watson's like, hold on, I've got a 2-hour-long story to tell you, and I need to transcribe it.
Right?
Fuck you, dude!
How's your stenography? and here's the other thing. He's not even identified as Watson.
Right.
So it's kind of like,
I watched it with closed captioning, so it said Old Watson. So, but go ahead.
I too watched it with closed captioning, which threw up some interesting, like there's one, I love closed captioning, one, because of accents, 2, age, 3,
neurodivergency, 4,
the screw ups. And there was this one that said, "Oh, the poor devil." And it was captioned as "the Nepal devil."
Those are the worst kind.
And I'm like, oh, Nepal, I had no idea that it was so full of poor devils. Oh, my God. So, sorry, but just to get back to we do open on Old Watson on December 29th, 1940.
Yes, and he begins to tell a story about a curious man named Sherlock, and this woman who has worked for him forever has been like, oh yeah, who's that?
Yeah.
And she was like, oh, another story you want me to transcribe. So he's been telling her stories for years, let's say. Yeah. And she doesn't know who Sherlock is? What the fuck stories is he telling her? Anyway, so then we go to a model of London. Beautiful, scenic, tiny London.
Done in Legos, but with the bombers just strafing the city, just like going through.
How else are we going to know they're there?
Right. I mean, explosions and sounds and but you really need to see the actual airplanes.
Obviously, come on.
Going through at a second and third floor level. I'm like, hi, pilot. Hey, how's it going? Autopilot.
And then we cut to 1882 in the English Channel.
Yes.
Oh, boy, this scene was crazy.
I also took this opportunity to do some math. All right.
Good.
Some math and some research. I suck at math, so I had to had to subtract 58. So it was 58 years earlier.
Okay.
Now, we learn that Watson went through 7 years of medical school.
Yes, we do.
Poor thing. So I'm assuming that he is maybe 80. I don't know. He says he has not long to live.
Right.
Okay. Which, again, I did a little research. The average life expectancy of a male in the UK at that time was 70. So
he's been clocking.
He's truly living on borrowed time. So he needs to get this story out because
absolutely
he's old. He's old. He's at least 80, maybe 88. But yes, we see the coronet with all hands on deck and all the sailors wearing their little straw.
Oh, that looks so cute.
I was like, this is weird.
Yeah.
Because I kept looking there like, it said ramming speed and what is this? And I'm like, I can't see what he sees. What is he seeing? And I don't...
It's because if they showed it, it would look really bad because their CGI ain't great. But they did show tentacles.
8 hands on deck. Look, that tentacle getting dragged off. Oh, my God. And speaking of dragging, that scene. We see.
Oh my God.
I think we can see that so-called pacemaker in key spots throughout the
Wow.
movie.
No, seriously, that scene was insanely long. We get it. It's picking people off. Do we have to watch every single one? It was great. And it had no ending. It was just like
what?
next scene.
Yeah.
What?
I just. Why are you here? And what is your goal?
No,
No,
honey,
and-
no, shush. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. It's fine.
All right. Dear diary.
Now we're watching Watson do an autopsy, or he's about to begin one.
He's about to dive in to
Dig
someone
in.
about to slice him open when who spoils all his fun?
Of course.
Who comes in?
That
with
smart ass.
That smart ass Holmes.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's like, come on, dude. Let him find out it's mercury poisoning. I mean, we knew that. I knew that because I watched a lot of CSI.
Of course.
So of course.
Of course.
But then when he said, how did you know his name? How did you know the patient's name? It was like, it's on his chart. I want to say, like, dude, it's on the toe tag. It's not hard.
I could have found 5 ways he would have known the name. Catch up, Watson.
This is not the mystery that we're here to unravel. This is pretty freaking straightforward.
And then that's where we find out, because Watson's like, sometimes I wonder why I spent 7 years in medical school. Me too, bro, because you suck.
Yeah. Yes. I liked his apron. It was
that's
a nice,
nice.
like, leather
It
apron.
looked very durable.
Which I guess, if you're cutting up bodies for a living. But did he cut up bodies for a living? Because
He was just a doctor, generally doctor.
Okay.
Back in the day, doctor
Just
meant everything.
kind of handyman.
They're just partially off of being barbers as well. Like,
Okay.
well, that's bullshit.
Dr. Sweeney Todd.
Exactly. See, you get it.
So, okay, yes, because we see him doing autopsies, and later on, before too long, we see him called in to renew prescriptions.
No,
Yes,
he's a doctor to the people.
He's jack of all trades.
he's like a handyman, but
He
with
is.
bodies.
And it's also at this point that I start to think about whether the relationship that Holmes and Watson share is a healthy one.
Oh, absolutely not.
It's like,
Well,
I'm not a child. No, I'm not an ass. And it's like, wait.
Any relationship with a narcissist like Sherlock is not going to be healthy.
Man, it's not going to be healthy.
No, he is going to rule that relationship and make everyone else miserable,
Yes.
which he does very well.
Very well. Very well. Very well. He's a smug, superior little shit in breeches. Brilliant.
Yes, of course.
Brilliant.
Which he will
And
let everyone know.
Occasionally attractive, depending on the, I think
Right.
Benedict Cumberbatch is the hottest Sherlock.
Absolutely.
There's
and
that.
I just like that he was super gay in my head. But also, I had to look it up. This movie came out, I think, 2 years before the Benedict Cumberbatch one. So I have a theory.
Okay.
This was Asylum's reach at being like, hey, British guys, we'll totally reboot Sherlock and it'll be so cool and like it'll be dope. So we're gonna make this for you, and then you'll see how great we are, and then you can pick it up as a series. And they were like, wow, that's a great idea, except yours sucks. We're gonna go with this other guy. That's my theory.
That works.
Thank
That
you.
absolutely works.
Thank you. All right, so they go and check out this patient that was on that Kraken boat, and they're like, oh, he's crazy.
Release the Kraken boat. Sorry.
They're like, I don't know. I think he's telling the truth. All right. I mean, sure. Who's to say what's in the ocean? We've never explored fully. We know more about space, so who knows?
I love that they did the kind of weird mindfuck with him to say, like, at attention. It's like,
Right.
see, he's not crazy anymore. That was post-traumatic stress. But now
he's
that
fine.
now I'm fine.
Now that
he's
he
fine.
thinks that I'm his
Commanding officer.
Yes,
That's
exactly.
sweet. It's cool. So
it's
he's going to
not
tell me all I need to know.
manipulative at all. It's
No.
totally safe and healthy. It's
Not
fine.
at all.
Totally fine. Next, we go to an estate, which is close to the sea. They had to take a train to the estate. And Lestrada's there waiting for him. And he's like, what are you guys doing here?
Oh, right.
And they decide they're going to go where the ship was. Okay, I had to do all this with context clues because they don't explain this at all.
No.
But they go to where the ship was wrecked off of some cliff. And this scene was utter bullshit.
Yes.
There is no way that nasty falling apart hemp rope would have held anything or anybody up.
How he rappelled down. Well, you know, of course, he didn't. No one was belaying him. No. It was just that shitty rope that was already frayed. It's in bad shape, going around a dinky-ass pipe that was kind of would maybe be strong enough to hold up a lawn ornament.
Yeah.
Maybe.
At one point, I swear it was a piece of rhubarb, and they just switched it out, depending on... No, absolutely not.
Awful. Awful. And the other thing that I found distressing, because I don't think it will surprise you to know I have a plausibility meter that's set on high, and I'm watching Watson struggle backwards down the face of this cliff, and I'm like, panty lined? This is 1882. They don't... No, stop it.
I love that you caught that. Because that's the kind of bullshit I would see and be like, absolutely not.
Excuse me. Where's my continuity director? And there are a couple of those in here.
Oh, really? What? No.
Oh, yeah.
I don't believe it.
I looked up when zippers were invented.
I had to look up how long you had to go to medical school. I looked up so many things because it all seemed like bullshit.
And how long were those corpses just sitting? No, never mind. Anyway. But, okay, so he's rappelling down this cliff.
But why?
Why?
Yeah, but why?
To
look?
To look to see some random corpse?
To look.
What was that?
At least 60 feet away from this ship and the wreck. And he sees a corpse, and the corpse was for sure moving on its own. It was not the water and the waves. No, that was for sure a real alive person.
Going hey, help me. Not, but yeah.
And then he goes up and he's like, he doesn't mention it at all. He doesn't mention that he saw a corpse or a person. Or anything. And then he's like, I didn't see anything in the ship. How would you see anything on that ship? It was 60 feet away.
And under the I didn't see any part of the ship.
No.
Was there a mast? Was there any tattered sails floating?
I gotta tell you.
How do you know that ship was
this
even there?
Scene pissed me off.
Oh, well.
The sheer fucking hubris. If I can... No, I just wanted to quote
Oh, that's a fancy word, that hubris. Yeah, and it's 5 minutes of my life I won't get back.
No.
And all the little pebbles.
Oh, my God.
And it was really something. And when he did, and then being hoisted up. Basically.
If you had a nasty ass hemp rope tied around your waist, that's going to do nothing but split you in half if it's pulling you up. That's going to be so painful. It's not going to do anything.
Oh, they should have brought in REI or something as a sponsor.
Like some vintage REI from the 80s.
I mean, come on, man.
Seriously.
There could have been better rope from the sails in the shipwreck, quite frankly.
Absolutely.
He would have found saltwater-soaked hemp that was impossible to shatter. What was this dried
And the guy that brought this with him, hey, who the fuck is this guy?
Yeah.
Second off, why wasn't he the one repelling if it's so fucking safe?
Exactly.
No. You are bringing your second tier rope. You are not bringing your A game, and you don't care. You're about to kill this person as far as you know.
Oh, well. It's just Watson. He's disposable. He's dispensable.
But he went to medical school for 7 years.
Okay, so he's slow. But then I think it is walking back as they kind of come back through here that we see the first Easter egg kind of thing when Lestrade says, I heard from your brother.
Right.
It's like,
don't spoil it.
Brother? Well, that was like...
Yeah, I know. I'm just kidding.
I just assumed it was Mycroft.
Oh, well, of course. Why wouldn't it be? Because that's his brother.
That's his brother. I mean, if you watch or read enough Sherlock Holmes, you know that... Yeah, I was going to think. And why is Lestrade talking to Mycroft?
Right.
I don't know. No. That's as puzzling almost as the hemp rope.
All these... All these reveals that come at the end, you're just like, who, why, what? None of this even matters. You could have just kept with the originals.
I think why is probably the dominant W there, which is followed by WTF.
Yes, absolutely. Now we go to what I like to call the Red Candle District. Or maybe it's just the pores. Who knows? I don't know.
That would be probably the syphilis infested East End.
Yes.
East End, full of opium dens and
women of the night, sex
streetwalkers.
I mean, what do you call them then? Whatever you do, it's not correct right now, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I don't think they were sex workers back
really?
then.
Oh well, no, they weren't called that, but they absolutely were.
But they absolutely were.
Yes. And we get to, like, the fancy baker little boy, and he's like, hey, lady, I got some money. And she's like, all right, here you go. And he screams because he sees a dinosaur, and she has the punchline of, it's not that frightening. Lovely.
But then the dinosaur...
Oh, did I say dinosaur in the middle of a Sherlock Holmes movie? Oh, yeah, okay. Because there's a dinosaur in this friggin' movie. Because there's a dinosaur...
like wreaking havoc through the deeply alleyed brothels of London at this time. Now, was it highly implausible that an enormous octopus, which we know exists in nature still currently? Okay, so an octopus, and she killed everyone. Blah blah blah. So, but a dinosaur
in the metropolitan area of London? No.
Why was the dinosaur only interested in the young man who only had a threepence for a sixpence job, quite frankly, but no interest in the lady?
Because he's a socialist and he doesn't like to see people getting shorted on the work that they make.
I think it's that his arms were too short to lift a petticoat. I mean, it was just like, I gotta go. I gotta go.
I don't remember if there's a beautiful blood splatter shot, but there should have been, and he's dead. Next scene, we go to Sherlock and Watson. They're having a lovely tea breakfast with scones and tea and delightful
things.
Watson is reading the dino story, the dinosaur story to Sherlock. Wow. That's already in the newspaper. They work fast there.
Oh, yes.
They absolutely have to.
Absolutely.
They had the internet, right?
Pretty much. It was just ... dash at that time instead of 001. But that was their binary code. I mean, who knows? And we don't know who just happened to see it dashing past.
Another ne'er-do-well, I'm assuming.
When did we see that first muddy dinosaur paw print? When were they?
I have no idea. I could have been looking away because I was taking furious notes.
Or because you were just furious.
Yes.
What do they take me for, these writers? Okay.
So Watson is like, I'm going on my morning constitutional. And so they go for a walk because Sherlock needs tobacco.
Then that is their wildlife encounter.
They go for a walk and they're going through this park. And okay, before I go further, I gotta say, like, the costuming and like the sets, not terrible for an asylum movie. I have seen so much worse.
Okay.
so much worse.
Interesting that you should bring up the wardrobe, however, because it is at this juncture that I wrote, speaking of clothing, why is Watson wearing Dockers? Because
they're convenient and they're ready to go. What are you talking about?
Oh, okay, but zippers were not invented until 1933, I think. So it was kind of as if someone in the costume department said, "Okay, listen, here's some comfortable front pleated khakis, and you can tuck them in your boots, and it's going to be fine. But to make them period right, we don't have time to sew buttons in your breeches. So we're just going to sew these closed. So it looks like a fake fly."
Oh, my God.
But, yeah,
you are
because
blowing my mind. I never, ever considered the zipper. And I'm always looking for, like, tiny details that I can tear apart. I love you!
I'm just like, something here isn't making sense. Something here isn't making sense at all. May or may not have noticed that Sherlock's clothes are a little more tailored, a little more tapered, which I think is probably a little bit of a nod to his level of sophistication and wealth. But he too wears a fake fly. Yes.
Blasphemy.
Yes, rather.
So, let's call him a wino, because I'm sure that's what he was in the script. Runs out of the forest, and he's like, what does he say? It's in the woods, it's in the streets. Only with a drunken accent.
Yeah.
And they're
toddling
like,
down.
He was very much like an Irish stereotype. They're like, whoa, look at that guy. Whoa, what an asshole. Then they hear the growl, and they're like, and then Sherlock says, I believe we should run. And they all run. They all run because they're being chased by a dinosaur in 1882 London. I love it.
And when we were talking about subtitles earlier, I'd written down where the subtitles at that moment read, dinosaur, grr, bang. I'm like, yes, that is
accurate
really
on all points. So this whole scene is like them running for way too long, and Sherlock at some point just stops and is just standing there, and Watson keeps running, and they don't really explain why Sherlock just stopped. He's just like, I'm done.
I'm out of breath because I need tobacco. But I don't see that there's a town anywhere.
No.
I mean, I know it was Watson's constitutional, and we know that Sherlock doesn't do constitutionals. No. He's just blessed with, a good build and a metabolism. But the tobacco at some point needs to be acquired. And it's just because...
I'm glad I wasn't the only one that was thinking about that.
Like, dude, there's no town anywhere near here. I see no cobblestone streets.
I understand you're going
for
a walk,
horses.
but you are just making excuses to spend time with your boyfriend. Just say that, okay?
Whom you, quite frankly, abuse emotionally.
Absolutely. Oh, my God. So Watson comes across this, 5 brick sheds, garages. I don't know.
Some weird pseudo-industrial...
Yeah, like old...
colonial.
Yeah, it made no sense.
I don't know what the heck it is.
I didn't live then. I don't know.
This is after seeing the sluggish fountain.
Oh, right.
Right?
But I don't understand what that was about.
Well...
Explain.
Okay, the fountain wasn't... It's normally, think Buckingham Fountain.
Okay.
Robust.
Exploding with the
water. It
water.
was not doing that. It was kind of trickling and
occasional... Watson was like, kind of weak.
Well, it's when they go into this weird, shambolic kind of brick...
shed.
A brack thing.
Yeah.
That they discover that the water pump was taken.
You know what? Sometimes in these movies, people are talking and I just tone it out, and I'm like,
not that he connects it, not that he says,
no,
oh, look.
Because that would be the obvious part where, even though I didn't catch it, it would be like, oh, I just saw a fountain that was weak. oh, here's some water
This must
stuff.
be why. Not like, oh, look, a corpse in the pipe. That would upset the pressure. No. Oh, look, a dinosaur flattened the... Yeah, no, nothing like that. We don't really know.
But
and
why?
Also,
But why? Why is the water?
and why were all the copper wires?
Yeah.
I mean, people still strip buildings for copper wires today.
But then they sell it. This guy was not selling it. He was just like, ha, I have the copper wire.
It's just, and I also jotted down, when were dinosaurs discovered?
Right, and I did not look that up, but I know that it was in the 1800s, so it was very, very new at that point.
And I believe that it was a British scientist.
Oh.
You know, because they're smarter. You can tell that from their accent.
Absolutely. Are you fucking kidding me? They are so smarter.
Smart.
Come on.
Except they don't know, not to wear it.
Hold on, I'm going to Google this real quick.
Okay.
When were
Dinosaurs discovered?
I can't believe I didn't look this up already. 1824.
Okay, so fairly recent.
It was a geologist. Of course, he was English because they're the smartest.
Yeah.
And this animal was a Megalosaurus. It was the first dinosaur to be given an official name.
Oh.
And I never heard of it, but that
Never
means
heard of it.
nothing.
It's interesting because geology plays another role, another little weird, hidden, arcane.
It does. But also, let's talk about this. 1824, 1882, that's 60 years. I mean, that's a lifetime. But also, that was an intricate dinosaur. And it just was how does he know that much about what dinosaurs will look like? They are brand new.
Yeah, they'd only ever seen skeletons.
Yep.
Correct? And
Absolutely.
fossilized things. So there was no, who was sitting there like with the police sketch artist going, no, I think the eyes were further apart. Like perhaps, no, there were no eyelids.
They were green. They had scales. I'm definitely positive they had scales.
But some had feathers. Yeah. But arms too
crazy.
short. Arms too short to box with God. So.
To box with God? What?
Have you not heard that saying?
No.
Arms too short to box with God. Yeah, I don't know.
Is that equated to dinosaurs being hidden by God because the Earth is only 5,000 years old?
No, I think it just means that. Okay. I don't know what it means. I think it's a poetic. I don't know. We can look that up later. Siri, what is it? Okay.
Right.
No, and here comes this whole don't be a child and don't be an ass. It's like, my God, you guys, cut it out.
Seriously, you're
with
adults.
the bickering. Yeah,
come on. Sherlock found a piece of something in a footstep.
Yes,
A dinosaur
weird
footstep.
rubber thing.
Yeah, and I'm like,
as one does.
Are we supposed to know what this means? I don't
No.
care. He comes upon an old ass. My note just says old ass lab junk. So Watson is in his office and he's writing in his, diary. The dinosaur appeared. And his assistant comes in. She's like, patient examiner. And this is when we get Lucy and Lucy's uncle. This whole scene was weird. Gross. He's like, look, I'm in a lot of pain. I'm fragile and frail. Give me some friggin' morphine. Do I look like an addict or an opium guy? Whatever. Just give me something. He's like, oh, okay, you're right. You don't look like a gross person.
I know we've never met, and the HIPAA violations don't really factor in yet, and I have no medical files to show you. I mean, I guess I could roll up my arm and you could see the injection sites. However, look at this deathly pale woman with a incredibly cleft chin.
Oh my God, the cleftest of the cleft.
Treble cleft. And it's just like, what?
Okay, this is where I like to get into Tressa's Tress Corner. Her hair was bullshit, and I hated it.
Yes.
And I noticed going further on into the movie that just about every female character had the same bullshit hairdo. It was like the tightest, tiniest bun on the top of their head, or in the back of their head. Had the front just falling down in like the laziest knot curls, or a single braid and a curl. Like, even if it is historically correct, I hated it. I hated it so much.
Was she holding a curling iron over the fire and then just going joom, joom, joom?
I hated it.
Yeah, and see, you're bringing all your professional stylist expertise into this. Whereas, like, no, a curling iron hot enough to do that would actually catch your hair on fire.
Absolutely. It would melt off.
Yeah. What do? Get it wet and sleep with it wrapped around a piece of rebar. And then try not to roll over on it at night. Oh, God. Put your eye out with that thing.
Again.
Yeah, no. But then Watson...
So gross.
Asks her out that night.
Gross. As he's getting prescriptions ready
Boundaries.
for her. Yes, absolutely. He's like, hey, you want to, like, go out and, like, whatever?
Because my friend can set us up. He has box seats,
Gross. You're asking her out. Gross. You're name dropping. Gross. Gross. Watson, stop.
Take off your autopsy apron. Because you're covered with blood.
And then Sherlock calls. And he's like, hey, I'm about to ruin your night, bro. What's up?
You weren't doing anything interesting, were you? Could there be anything in your life that was even remotely as compelling and interesting as hanging out with me?
Narcissist.
No.
Thank you. So they make plans to go to the Red Candle District again. And Sherlock totally pranks Watson. He's like, hey, I'm a war vet. Give me some money. I'm shrouded. You don't know who I am. Joke's on you, Watson.
As he flings money in his face and tosses the burlap.
So gross.
Disguise.
Okay,
back.
First off, Watson, you're a fucking idiot. You are so stupid. I saw that coming a
mile away.
He's wearing slacks.
Yeah.
Probably Dockers.
Yeah. And hush puppies.
Yes. Oh my God. It's so obvious. Come on, Watson, get on it. You're supposed to be, like, not stupid. Come on. That's all I'm saying.
They must have taught you some observational skills.
No,
he's not supposed to be Sherlock's competition. He's supposed to be his complement.
Gay companion is the word you're looking for.
Yeah, right. Okay.
So they go and they sneak into some warehouse, and they're like, all right, we got to wait in the dark and, like, hide, and we're going to wait for this dinosaur to come because it's coming. And Watson falls asleep, and Sherlock wakes him up. They go to a different room. Why any of that? They were obviously there forever because Watson fell asleep.
Yeah.
Men can fall asleep anywhere. What the fuck is that?
I don't know. I envy them.
Seriously, absolutely.
But it's just like, oh, man.
And then they're like, we got to go into a different room? Why do you have why are we in this room? Why didn't we just go in that room in the first place? Sherlock, come on, get on it.
This was when they stumbled onto that, like, pre-OSHA, totally unsafe workplace.
Not yet, but almost.
Oh, almost.
I don't know where the fuck they are. They're in some weird factory, and the dinosaur comes, and they're, like, going through it, and they're like, chase it, run after it. And Watson pulls out his gun, and then Sherlock runs right in front of the gun, and Watson shoots. And if that were a real gun, Holmes would be dead, is all I'm saying. Sherlock gets blindsided by the dinosaur. After that, Watson starts shooting at the catwalk. I was confused. This is very confusing.
Shooting up again. You're shooting up through a metal catwalk.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, gravity. It's that bullet is gonna ricochet
and kill
off
everybody.
and just kill you. I think I was just so excited as I watched this and watching it and devouring it.
Oh, absolutely.
At such a speed. And I'm like, I may be going too fast.
It's easy to do because it's very exciting.
Let me slow down and savor the moments.
After Watson is shooting up the catwalk, obviously shit falls down and Sherlock gets glass in his leg or something. And he like carries Sherlock Holmes. Sherlock Holmes. Sorry.
A new subdivision. Sherlock Holmes.
He's like, oh, I gotta shoot you up with morphine so I can stitch this up. And he's like, no, I need to be sharp. And he shoots him up, and he's like, oh, that's good. Like, I don't remember exactly what he said, but he was just like, yeah, that's cool. I'm on. And he passes out. And I was like, oh, this is gonna present itself later with like him having a problem with morphine. Nope, never happened.
No.
It
It
was just like a comedy moment, maybe, but it was not.
Well, that and the fact that Watson had the nerve, lower class gall, to wash out his wound.
I know, gross.
With a good vintage wine.
How?
I was like, rather see a church burn.
Thank you.
I was like, but Watson, that's a 73 Côte d'Aron or whatever it was. I'm like,
but also, how clean is wine? Like, I get the alcohol cleaning a wound, but wine isn't that high in alcohol. Am I wrong?
I can tell you after a bottle.
Okay.
But okay, it's fermentation, right? So is it like a liquid probiotic? Is it like here, drink this or take this?
That's why I drink wine
to stay healthy.
Yeah,
to put the
probiotics.
Right kind
I need
of
the right bacteria
in my gut.
Mm-hmm. You got it.
Yeah, I got a gut feeling. That's right. Yeah, bum. Boo.
And this is when we go to the rubber plant the next day. They get there and Lestrade's like, what are you doing here? What's going on? What's up?
Oh.
And Sherlock is like, you're following us because you have weird mud on your shoe. Or whatever the fuck. I don't care at this point because it's just like, no. And so they both go to the owner or manager and they're like, hey, let us in and search junk or else we're going to report you because you have illegal people working with. Okay. What? He goes and searches his office, the manager of the rubber factory. As he's looking, he stares off into wherever, and he's like, "Ugh!" And then...
As one does.
Right. And then you see his POV is a dinosaur walking back and forth. So his,
pacing.
Yeah, watching the guy shocked, he's not watching the dinosaur. He's just looking straight ahead shocked. And that bothered me. Because if you see a dinosaur, regardless of where you are, and you see it pacing, you're going to follow it with your eyes. You're going to be like, oh.
I always do.
Thank you.
Anytime I've seen a dinosaur, I'm like, okay, what is up?
You're not
with
like
that.
Yes.
No.
You're not like, what's the area around this dinosaur? You're like, I should probably
How quickly can I flee from this dinosaur? Yeah, no. Yeah, absolutely.
So he gets, of course, a died. I don't know why I wanted to say a died. I was attacked and died in the same thing. He gets pushed up against a beautiful stained glass window, and there's a beautiful blood splatter.
Oh, mm-hmm.
But right after that, he gets pushed out of the window, and his corpse is burning or smoldering. Which I don't know if
pretty heavily charred.
Yeah, I don't know if they really address that later. Do they?
No, and I was like, wait, whose corpse is that?
Yes.
Because there was that.
Because it's not recognizable.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, you guys.
It reminds me, I was kind of going off topic here, but being out last week at a surprise comedy club and hanging out in the bar afterwards and looking around, as one does, and seeing folks there, and then thinking, I think that young woman has a container of stage blood on the table with her. And so, ever inquisitive, I get up and I go, oh, it is stage blood. Yes, it was like, couple of quarts of stage blood labeled because it's Friday night. You're in Chicago.
I mean, what else are you going to bring with you?
Yeah. Uh-huh. Your ID, your vaccination card.
Bucket of blood.
Bucket of blood. And I was reminded of that when I saw the splash on the stained glass window. I'm like, no.
Yeah, someone full on.
But I know where there's more.
Someone full on threw a bucket of blood at that window. and I loved it.
Loved it.
Now we decide to go somewhere we've heard of before from Lucy, the guy that Watson was creeping on as a patient's niece. Hell's Mouth.
Hell's Mouth.
Before you get into actually interesting things, I have to mention that they like climbed over a fence. They had to put a blanket over the fence, which
I don't know.
But then they show the field that they're jumping into, and it's beautifully manicured. Like, it's a very, like, well, it is just been mowed. It's a beautiful yard. And the next shot is them, like, running through an overgrown field, like, no one's lived here forever. But
someone's mowing the lawn.
Well, you were just in a... Okay.
Or it's goats. I don't know.
No, there were lines.
No, there was... Oh.
I'm sorry. I interrupted you. Please continue.
After the charred corpse lands in the courtyard, Sherlock discovers what?
The stone that I didn't write down what the stone was, but that's why they went to Hell's Mouth.
Well, that's okay if you didn't write it down, because I did.
Thank you.
And I did some research.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Let's do this.
All right. It's called Charnockite.
Is that a real thing?
It is. It is. I thought it was made up, but listen to this. It is a felsic, melina. Oh, no, I can't even pronounce that. Holocrystalline, alkali-granite rock from Job Charconite's tombstone in Calcutta.
What?
Yeah. So
it's specifically at this guy's tombstone?
Yes. That is where this type of rock, which is, again, legitimate, and I had rehearsed that, but felsic, melanocratic, no.
Yeah, that's words.
It's this Job, the story of Job Chacronite. It was his tombstone.
Wait,
in Calcutta.
Job from the Bible? It's his...
No, it's okay. His last name was Chacronite, which is Charnockite. Too many syllables. Job Charnockite.
I have questions. Why is it only at his tomb?
Exactly. What? And who is wandering around Calcutta going, oh, wow.
British
that
people?
Headstone looks kind of weird. Who's this Job fellow?
Have we seen the British Natural History Museum? It's all full of stolen bullshit. British people love to steal stuff from Calcutta.
Well, and I was asking, why are stones from India in London? So how would this guy have had this?
And it seemed like he would have had a ton of it, because Sherlock was like, the only place in England that has this is this castle, and he's seen it a ton. Like,
and again,
what
timeline error? Charnockite was discovered in 1900. This is 1882. This castle is kind of old. This is not a prefab house. This is not a Sears castle.
No,
this is
old AF.
Old, yes. And
it's like a few hundred years old at least.
So where were they getting?
I think that Sherlock is behind everything.
Well, someone built a massive castle out of this weird, mysterious stone.
Like, he made it seem like it was a major part of this castle. Well, I say castle, but it's an estate.
It's not like a Petoskey stone that's unique to... I mean, it's like, oh, well, that would be something, wouldn't it? But this is just like, what?
And he knew all about it. And he was like, oh, I would go here when I was a kid.
There's only one place.
It hasn't been discovered yet, asshole. How did you go there and discover this and know all about it, you idiot?
And who was the park ranger that was giving tours when you were a child saying, welcome to Hell's Mouth. Welcome to Hell's Mouth, built with one of the strangest, more obscure stones known to other continents, not ours yet.
That makes perfect sense.
Yeah. As much sense as pretty much everything else in the movie.
So they break in because Sherlock is a master at everything and can pick the locks.
Pretty much. He didn't use a credit card, though.
No, he used picks, like old-timey picks. He had a whole stash of them. Whatever, dude.
In his pleated front docker pockets.
And they're like walking through, and it's obvious that somebody is living there because there's candles lit, there's fireplaces lit, and then there's a woman walking down the hall, and they're like, let's get in this closet. Or okay. And then someone turns on the gas. Yes! What? And Sherlock's like, hey, hold on real quick. I'm going to pick the lock to this thing on the floor that I know is there somehow. What?
Even though I'm near death at this point,
What?
but not for long.
It's cool. I'm not breathing, so the gas doesn't affect me. What?
They're like, don't breathe. Oh, well, you got it at some point. But yes.
My shirt is K95, so it's totally cool.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
Fine.
Okay.
It's fine.
Only the best mesh.
They drop into some secret room. I guess. Who knows if it's secret, because what the fuck is happening? And that's where they discover the Kraken hanging on the wall and the dinosaur.
Yes.
And they're like, a robot made out of copper, which I guess they melted the copper.
Copper wires, maybe, I'd guess.
But, I mean, that seems like a lot of fucking work. I don't know.
Well, so was animating okay.
Yeah.
Was this the self-same Kraken? Had the Kraken been animated?
I think that's what they were applying.
I think, yeah.
I mean, who's to know, because this movie explains nothing.
Nothing.
But I think that's what they were implying.
And maybe Sherlock knew about this little, other reach and error from these tours as a child.
Exactly.
Maybe it was some timeout room for behaving poorly on the tour. Because it looked kind of like you were going through the halls of the Field Museum.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, look, an enormous octopus. Oh, look, a flying dinosaur. And then it's like,
and there's some beakers.
Have we seen these before moving? Or these piñatas? I don't know.
I mean, it could go either way. Who knows?
Until you see, like, the Sith warrior or,
They're
or
like,
R2 or what? I don't know.
There's another one. It's a copper robot. They're examining this copper robot and like, ding, ding, ding. He's like, fuck you guys, I'm not a robot. I'm a guy in a suit. And he's like, whatever. And then Sherlock picks up two swords. I don't know where he got them. I don't remember. And he starts
just hanging around. Yeah.
He starts sword fighting copper robot.
Weren't those, I think those swords, a sword or a gun, there was some sort of, implement of harm in a beautiful glass front case filled with burning pillar candles. They were all lit. I'm like, who keeps a cabinet full of enormous pillar candles lit?
Amy, the same people that don't have electricity. Are you fucking kidding me?
I'm like, they are going to burn down, and they're not even saucers underneath. And I don't think these weren't battery operated votives. This is implausible. Once again, I am not swayed by this bad Martha Stewart dinner party. Here's how to store your sabers as party favors.
I mean, that's fair.
He opens the door and whips these out, and then he's like dueling with the copper man.
And the copper man's just like, duh, I made out of copper. What are your swords
What are you gonna do?
Fuck you guys. And that's when Lucy, the guy that Watson asked out, shows up and pulls a gun. And we're like, wait. Is that actually a robot? Oh, yes, it is. Of course it is. Of fucking course it is. And we realize at this point also, a lot of stuff happened in this scene. But we also realize that it's not a robot. It's Sherlock's brother, Thorpe. In a mech. Which, what the fuck? Who the fuck is Thorpe? Second, a mech? Are you fucking kidding me? What?
then he says, "Hello, Robert," while looking at Sherlock. And then I'm thinking, wait, have they been playing me this whole time? Is this not Sherlock? Is this Robert? How many fucking Holmes boys are there right now? Because now I know about Mycroft and I know about Thorpe, although it defies.
But why is Thorpe
and that's
exist?
and it's like, so you're standing upright like a creature out of Star Wars, but you were tilted to the far left in a wheelchair, asking me for morphine and corticosteroids or something.
I got was morphine. I don't know.
With this person who's now holding a gun at me. What is going on here?
Thank you.
What kind of a weird-ass trap have I walked into?
What kind of weird-ass kink have I walked into? I
Well,
think
there
this
is
is a
that.
more important question.
Yes. I mean, hooray for being sex positive in the 1880s, but it's
But
like...
don't involve me. You do your thing. That's not mine.
You be you. I just want to get out of here without a dinosaur biting me in half or,
That's totally fair. I get it.
Yeah.
We learned that not only has this Miss Ivory extracted the bullet from his spine, which, talent.
Yes.
Without killing him?
Wow. Impressive.
Yeah. Also, we learned that they have kidnapped Lestrade, and he's all tied up.
I'm sorry. Can someone else take your call? Inspector Lestrade is all tied up at this time. I wrote down, who the fuck is Thorpe? And it's like, is that his uncle? Is it his brother? It's like that scene from Chinatown. My sister, my daughter, my sister, my daughter, just slapping the face back and forth. It's like, I don't know who he is. I don't know who he is.
Because it's confusing. I had to write Thorpe so many times in my notes because I'm like, I don't know who Thorpe is. I don't know. I've never heard this name before.
No.
What? Why?
No.
Why are you introducing a new person? There's already a full story of characters that you could just reach from, and you're making a new one up?
Yeah.
You're confusing everyone. Stop it.
Stop.
So Holmes goes to, I don't know, he's running to free Lestrade, I guess, but Lucy shoots him. And everyone's like, what the fuck? You fucking asshole, Lucy. Even Thorpe, because that's his brother. Like, why are you shooting my brother? Yeah.
This is not about patricide. Fratricide.
And Watson's like, I'm going to get you, Lucy. And he strangles her. And that's when we find out that she's not a human.
Right.
And she just, like, stares at him like, what?
Like a killer robot bitch would.
Yeah, like, I don't understand what you're trying to do because I don't breathe oxygen, you idiot.
Yeah, and if you just opened my bodice from the back, you would see that I am elaborate clockwork. In fact...
Open my bodice from the back is like a really great bodice ripper novel I read last week.
And there's also, I wrote down I wrote it down, but I don't remember exactly where it fell in this scene. Sherlock encourages Watson to back down and protect his second most valuable organ.
What? I don't remember that at all.
Yes, it was like something like, I guess, his heart versus his dick. So, yeah.
Whoa, no, okay. I do remember that now. And Amy, get your head out of the gutter. I think he was talking about his brain. He was not talking about his dick being the most valuable. He was talking about his fucking brain. Amy, how dare you?
Look, he was using, to hit on Lucy when he thought she was a hot-to-trot patient advocate.
No, I'm just saying you need to get your head out of the gutter because it was his brain. It's okay. We all have our moments.
It just felt saucy somehow.
Of course, because they're all tied up and saucy. I don't know.
Yeah, the thing and about to take off on some... Jules Verne meets...
Oh my god. This whole, the whole rest of this movie is what the fucking fuck. They have Watson tied up in these like weird swing set chains. And they're like, if you move, it's gonna make it worse, and you're gonna fucking die. But if you like look at the chains, they're just lightly wrapped around his arm. He could have just like unwrapped his arm from the chains and like gotten out, no problem. But
I mean, I think that happened to me in 4th grade in the playground or something. You're trying to slip it up over the thing, and it's like the swing just, that's hardly life-threatening.
No. And Sherlock shows, I don't know if we mentioned this before, but everyone thinks Sherlock is dead because Lucy shot him. But he shows up again. He's like, ha-ha. Screw you guys, I'm gonna save Watson. Okay. They open up this, like, what I'm assuming is blueprints, because whenever they show papers and things, people are like, yes, we will do this. They never show us what they're looking at, so I just assume they're blueprints. I have no idea.
It's fine. It's papyrus. It's,
yeah. And the next scene is Sherlock taking off in a hot air balloon / helicopter / nonsense bullshit.
And that looks like it's covered with cotton candy.
Yes, and glows.
And because obviously for maximum visibility on screen, forget trying to play it low key.
No.
And stay hidden.
No.
Whilst chasing
you gotta announce that shit.
Dark, heavily patinaed, copper-bottomed dragon.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. No. Mm-hmm. Yeah. The whole rest of this movie is like, what the? Can I fucking what?
Where'd you get all the helium for that? That's what I want to know.
I have a note that's just LOL fake.
Just now it's like, you know what?
No, it's just like gathering, and it's just like I purged it. Thorpe has clockwork dragon, and I noticed like a lot of his like dials are cupboard knobs that I've seen at Home Depot, but I'm not gonna say anything about that.
I'm like, what time zone are we in? And then, oh my, okay, keep going.
So he's like exploding stuff in like alleys of London and whatever. Sherlock catches up to him and he's like, oh, I'm gonna get him. And holy fucking shit, he's got machine guns on that.
Yes.
Yes. That is an ancient hot air helicopter balloon thing.
Like,
you do not.
Did you get
But also, they were looking at blueprints. Did they make that? Or were they like, oh, this thing exists, we should go find it? None of this makes any sense. But meanwhile...
if they'd gone to American Science and Surplus.
That's so true. Oh my God,
I think they could have gotten a lot.
Yes.
There. That's the best place.
They would have done it in like 5 minutes, no problem.
Yeah.
With guidance from the very helpful people at American Science Surplus. Yes. I agree. Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, Lucy is on a train and she has some explosives inside of her clockwork because she's a clockwork robot. And Watson's like, no problem. I'll get on a horse and chase that train and I'll catch up with her and it's fine. Let's go. Let's do this. Fucking what?
Because my horse is faster than a train, fucking of course.
What? She gets into London and she's just like walking, like hanging out, like I got shit to do. I have a mission.
With really impressive heels. I gotta say,
absolutely.
That was like,
oh my God, it was gorgeous.
It was really.
It was.
Hats off to that, to that sound guy, because
I totally agree.
That was they weren't stilettos,
no,
but they weren't chunky heels either.
No, they were like just right.
They were impressive. They were assertive.
Yes. They were exactly what they needed to be. Mm-hmm. At this point, she's walking up to what is supposed to be Buckingham
Palace.
Absolutely not Buckingham
They're
Palace.
changing guards at Buckingham Palace.
And the guards with the big Q-tip hats are like, hey, lady, don't come here. Yeah. And she's just walking. And it's like the longest series of like, lady, no. And she's like, I don't care. I'm walking.
It's like the longest driveway in the world to a pitch dark Buckingham Palace. I'm like, no. Do you know how many torches there would be? And also, why don't all these beef eaters have the chin
Yes.
clasp on. It's
And
like,
also,
are you?
where's
And
all
also,
this
why
grass
are you 12 years
from?
old?
Yes. They're like in the middle of the forest.
I know.
There's
It's like,
this is not this is not London. You guys? No. Okay. So somehow Watson catches up on this fucking magical horse. He jumps off his horse.
Pegasus. He just flew through the skies.
He jumps off his horse and starts running and shooting at the same time. About 30 feet away from some armed guards. It's fine.
It's fine.
Fine. I need to finish this thought out because this whole scene is intercut with hot air balloon dragon fight. But let's just finish off like this. Watson, bro, she is a robot and you're gonna try and strangle her again?
Did you learn nothing?
She does not breathe oxygen, bro. Some guards go and attack her and run up to her and are shooting her, and she just whatever, kills them, I don't know how, and grabs their gun and shoots all the guards. All the guards are dead. Everything's done. Everything's bad. And she's gonna blow up Buckingham Palace, quote unquote Buckingham Palace. So let's go back to the dragon, the bad fake ass dragon, and the hot air balloon.
And he kept checking, and then had the, it was as if he'd gotten the steering device off the wrecked ship.
He absolutely did. Why do you think he wrecked it? So he could get that steering device.
The reason for the shipwreck was
doubloons.
Yes. The Jamaican gold.
Yep.
Jamaican me crazy with the idea that he would then purchase. That was the reason behind all this, right?
Right. Why not just use the dinosaur to just grab what you need instead of? Okay. It seemed like a whole lot of work.
Send a dinosaur get to the bank.
Right.
I mean, just
the dinosaur can
or send Miss Ivory to the bank because she can just blow it up and she won't be the worse for wear.
No, she will be fine.
Why did you have to kill all those cute little sailors in their nautical bibs?
So
and
adorable. It just seemed like way more work than it needed to be.
If there'd been crypto coin.
Oh, that's a whole nother story. Come on.
But he needed the Jamaican coins, the 500 pounds in Jamaican coins, in order to purchase what? Rubber?
Yes.
Yes.
That is it. That is the end of that story. What? You couldn't convince that guy some other way. You have to make a kraken and what? No, that was way too much work for what you needed. No. You have two robots that are totally capable.
I mean, if you want to talk about the evils of futures trading or some sort of and Thorpe ran a rubbers hedge fund. Rubber hedge. Oh, I was going to think. Well, it was about standing up, I guess.
Maybe he was just I can do this, so I'm going to try it out. It made no sense otherwise.
Let me see what I can get away with.
Right. Absolutely. I should also note that while Watson is trying to get Lucy, who has a bomb inside of her, he's shooting at her, which seems like a very bad idea.
I think, the fundamentals of incendiary devices would say, let's not.
Bad idea.
Bad idea.
All right, I just had to bring that up because I didn't before, and what the fuck? I'm so frustrated by the end of this movie. And the worst part is I didn't hate it. Okay. So, God damn it. Watson tackles Lucy and whatever. He has this thing that he got that he knows what it does, and he jams it in her neck and she just shuts down. That wouldn't stop the clock to the bomb. That would do nothing.
That would do nothing.
That might shut her down, but it's not going to click.
Well, and how? I assumed it was morphine, but she's not. She's not human,
right? No,
so
it does. We get no explanation. It was just here's a thing I put in your neck and I win. What? No,
I didn't fill your tank up with diesel, and now you're screwed.
Yeah.
No, I mean it's just
it's
what?
Sugar. This is sugar, and I'm putting in your gas tank. Fuck you, lady.
Now that actually made okay. I'm throwing salt water on all those elaborate Swiss clockworks that have been loaded into your back like a bad mosaic.
Ha-ha! I win. The dragon and the balloon collide, and there's a crash.
Yes.
And Thorpe looks dead, but he's not dead. He's like crawling somewhere, and his own goddamn brother shoots him dead. All right. Wow, like, what? Lestrada's there, and they, like, save him, and he looks like a cartoon character that had an explosion nearby. His, like, collar is every which way. It's like, his, like, cuffs are, like, all crazy.
Like, wow. Wardrobe. Clean up on set 5.
I mean, I get it. You wearing oldie-timey clothes, but you look insane. And they start talking like, oh, man, Sherlock, I'm totally sorry. I didn't know that I did murdered your brother or tried to or whatever. I hate guns. But he didn't. I don't care. I don't care about the scene. It was stupid. It just, the baseline of this scene is Lestrade has not changed. He's going to take credit for everything again.
Oh, that Weasley little guy. Well, I don't want to brag, but... Ugh. It's not mine to take all the glory, but but you're doing it.
Exactly. Freaking dickhead. And that's it. That's fucking it. And then it goes back to 1940, and the assistant's like, "Is any of it true?" You know,
and his answer is,
I don't know. I didn't write that down.
No answer. Why? Because he dead.
He fucking died.
Reach over. He's not answering you. Check his pulse.
He died.
He died.
He had to get his last energy, the last bit of life. He had to tell this stupid ass story. What? Oh, dude, you should have just kept it to yourself. And then we go, like, the last scene is the assistant in a graveyard.
Miss Hudson.
Yes, Miss, thank you.
Is she the unmarried daughter of Mrs. Hudson of 221B?
Oh, that's a very good point. I never thought of that. That's very possible.
Yes, she was just an ace transcriber.
Right. Whew. So she's putting flowers on Watson's grave because obviously he's dead now.
White carnations. You know?
Tacky. Because you can get them at the Walgreens on your way there. It's just easy.
Was there a petrol station on the way home? You can grab some carnations.
She looks over and she sees this woman in like oldie-timey outfit looking at Thorpe Holmes' grave. And she's like, whoa, what? And the movie's over. Okay.
Inspector Thorpe.
Yes, exactly.
Yes, because,
They also...
And the bullet. It wasn't Lestrade's bullet.
Oh, yes.
All that hatred, all that need for revenge against Lestrade.
And it wasn't
It was wrong. It was wrong. Lestrade was using his bullfrog.
Bulldog.
Not the mark. What? Bulldog? I like bullfrog. Ribbit. Ow.
Cut it out.
I'm going to blame that on the closed captioning.
That's fair. But can I just say, when she looks over, it's 1940, I believe. And Lucy is wearing the exact same outfit she was wearing in 1882. And it looks brand new.
No.
Like, it looks like it hasn't been washed or pressed. It just looks like it was made and she put it on. That thing would be shredded. Especially her being a robot. Like,
how can she take care of herself?
No.
I was like, hold on, you can't. How could you even comb your hair?
Unless and she doesn't. If you're
she doesn't. I mean, just like matted back.
Thank you. Maybe if you like, okay, I'm a robot. I'm a clockwork robot. I live in this estate that's not mine, and I don't know how I am able to do this. But it's fine. I'm going to take off my dress and only wear it when I go to see my master's grave. Because she's like a genie or something, whatever. That's acceptable. But even then, she's going to wear it, like, let's say once a year. And that's like 50 times, right? 50-something times.
And let's
shredded.
Let's also be frank about clothing of the period. you had to have a maidservant to lace you up the back.
Thank you. Absolutely.
So who's taking care of the robot? Who's the robot's caretaker?
The dinosaur.
And I also take... Hey, or the octopus. You got 8 arms. I want 2 of them right now. Come on. I really took issue with the fact also that they shortened inspector. They didn't
write it out on the gravestone.
No.
Well, you got to pay per letter. So.
Damn it. And it was, no. It was wrong. It was disrespectful. And it was poor graphic design.
Oh,
really?
Absolutely.
Awful. I mean, the cross shape, fine. But then it says, Inspector Thorpe. No. No, that won't fly.
No. It was ugly. It was... No, it was you're right. It's absolutely disrespectful.
And as a robot, quite frankly, I think she could have changed that. She could have
Every year.
etched it.
She could have used her
done
robot
so
fingernail.
much.
She
I mean, I know she's not human. I don't expect her to have feelings and loyalty. But on the other hand,
she is there.
She is there. She does go see him every so often. So was that scheduled in? Was that like, oh my God, setting Google Calendar to just remind her to go?
Who's winding her up? Like, she's got to be wound.
But that's okay. Brilliant.
You're welcome.
Oh, I've been working on that, she says. Tressa's like, oh, that's nothing. Wait till you see what I can drop. And the other thing is, Watson's tombstone was ugly, too.
Yeah, for sure.
I just did.
It was
supposed to be a sweet, sentimental, nostalgic, yet like,
right.
Oh, the story continues.
Yes.
Kind of thing, but no.
No, and
it was disappointing and shoddy.
Absolutely. And I want to know what happened to Sherlock. I want to know if his grave is there. I want to know if he got turned into a clockwork human guy that's gross and falling apart. I want to know what's going on.
Well, that does set it up for sequels, doesn't it?
Let's write a sequel.
Or a prequel.
So we know what the fuck is going on and who the fuck Thorpe is.
My brain hurts just trying to think what that would like.
Yeah, I want it to be I want there to be flashbacks of the Holmes boys with Mycroft and Sherlock and Thorpe. I don't know
Why
anything.
is he monosyllabic? That's another thing.
Yes.
When Sherlock explains his disdain for Robert,
right?
Because who remembers Robert Holmes?
Sure.
It's like, yeah, he's got a point.
Sure.
Go with Sherlock. Mm-hmm. So was Thorpe a middle name or a first name?
Maybe it is Mycroft and he's just using his middle name. I doubt it, though, because he was an idiot.
Yeah.
Amy, do you have a better name for this movie?
Well, I believe the actual name is Sherlock Holmes, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yes, that is correct.
It's kind of concise, if not curt.
And also a little misleading, but go ahead.
Yeah, it's Robert. I'm thinking Sherlock Holmes versus Torpedo.
Oh, nice. Nice. Oh, that brings so much into it.
Mm-hmm. We get a little Jules Verne going on there. We get a little torpedo pun on torpedo. We get war-torn London.
Yeah.
It could work.
It could definitely work.
You got friends at Asylum? I don't know.
No, I don't, but I'm working on it. I'm working on it by making them sound like assholes. I have 2. One of them is nonsensical. Well, they're both nonsensical. Okay. I realized there's no one named George in this movie, but it was the closest thing to Orange. Clockwork George, or I know it makes no sense, or Jurassic Shenanigans, which also really doesn't make any sense, but I like it.
I like it.
Do you have a favorite quote from the movie?
Well, I think it would have to be about your second most valuable organ. Either that or don't be an ass.
That's fair. I think mine is going to go with a punchline. It's not that frightening. I'm not going to do a Cockney accent. No.
That was hilarious because I'm thinking, if this is his first time having sex.
Oh my God, that doesn't look my stuff at all.
In fact, under all those petticoats, where is it? I don't even know.
It looks like more petticoats made out of flesh. Oh, that's gross.
Have I got a credit, or do I need to come back with the extra threepence? I don't know. Doesn't matter.
Nope.
You're dead now.
Your head is gone.
See, premarital sex, it's a sin.
It's a moral movie. It's about...
There's a lot about how you care for your brother, how you care for your family members.
Yep. And your body.
Our bodies ourselves. Maintaining an informed awareness of the history before us.
Yes. And to
Dinosaurs.
not get sucked into a relationship with a narcissist. Yeah, right?
Man, toxic.
Yeah, absolutely.
And don't wear Dockers.
I mean, that's a rule we should all be following at all times.
Yeah, Casual Friday is way gone right now. I think we just have Zoom sweatpants. So I think we're good on that.
Amy, do you have anything you'd like to promote?
No.
Okay.
Not at this time. No.
I had to ask.
But thank you.
You're welcome. Because, I know you from doing stand-up, and I want you to promote anything that you may have in
doing some storytelling next week. But I am looking forward to my voiceover class.
Where are you taking that?
At, what's our favorite spot? Lincoln Lodge. At the Lodge. People always told my father, he had a beautiful voice. You have a terrific voice. You should preach. So he did. Mm-hmm. And people say to me, Amy, you've got such a beautiful voice. You should teach.
And you did.
And I do. But I think it would be fun to do a little bit more with that. I was teaching on Zoom, blah, blah, blah. I'm teaching, and the students, most of them will have their cameras on, and this young woman's on the couch. And then I see her look over her shoulder, and then her father, leans into the frame. His elbows are on the, hello? Are you here to learn about the fashion industry? and the student says, no, my father just loves your voice, and so he wanted to see your face. I'm like, okay, man.
Oh, I love that so much.
I've got my Zoom settings on touch up my appearance are on 11, but okay.
I mean, a girl's got to do what a girl's got to do.
Yeah. Smear mayonnaise on the lens. Call it a day.
It's so much better than Vaseline.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And delicious. Amy, it was such a pleasure to have you. I'm so glad you could stop by.
This was a blast.
Yes, you'll have to come back.
I want to. Now, I will ask that, as you did for this one, you assign me one. Okay? Because this was...
I don't know if I can top this.
I don't know. This was something. Or as they call it, a mockbuster.
Yes. That's what we do here.
Yay!
All right, everybody. Thanks for joining us. And we will see you next week. Goodbye. Say goodbye, Amy.
Goodbye, Amy. Goodbye, Tressa. Goodbye, audience.
Thanks for joining us this week on The Asylum Case Studies. Special thanks to comedian and storyteller Amy Meadows and a very handsome and talented Andy Slater, our mixer and engineer extraordinaire. Make sure to visit us at asylumpod.com, where you can subscribe to the show in iTunes, Stitcher, or whatever, so you'll never miss a case study. While you're at it, if you found any bit of enjoyment in the show, we'd appreciate a rating on iTunes. Or if you'd simply tell a friend about the show, that would help us out too. Unless you're going to be a dick, then no thank you. So until next time, I'm Tressa Slater, and it's not that frightening.